If your high yield savings account is set up and you haven't looked at it in a while, there's a good chance it's not paying you what you think it is. And it's not because you picked the wrong account, it's because you stopped paying attention after you opened it. And look, I've been using high yield savings accounts since 2022, and I've still made mistakes that cost me real money. Some of them for years before I even caught them. Now, these are not mistakes that I read about, I've actually lived them, and I'm sharing them here so you don't have to go through the same thing. So, mistake number one is when a bank wants to attract new customers, they raise their advertised rate. New people sign up, get the better rate, and everybody's happy. But existing customers, they may stay right where they are with the same account, with the same balance, the same lower rate. There is no email, no alert, no notification. The bank technically is not required to proactively move you up to the new savings rate available. And most people never think to check because, well, why would you? You open a good account in a reputable organization, you set it up, and you assume that it was working. Now, that assumption can be very expensive. Let's think about this. On $20,000, a 1% difference is $200 a year. On 50 grand, $500. Over 5 years, that adds up to real money and it compounds. So, when was the last time you logged in and you checked what rate you're currently earning? Now, even if you fix mistake number one and make sure you're getting the best rate available, there's a bigger mistake underneath it that most people never address. And it's a mindset mistake, it's not really an account mistake. Now, many people open a high yield savings account and think, hey, I'm building wealth, I'm doing the right thing. And for the short term portion of your money, absolutely. That's exactly right. But a high yield savings account earning 4% is barely keeping pace with inflation. You're not growing wealth, you're protecting it. Now, the market historically returns between 8 to 10% over long periods of time. The gap between 4 and 8 to, or 10% in the market, that gap compounds silently every single month. And here's what makes it a mistake. Most people don't realize they're using a protection tool when they could also be using a wealth building tool at the same time. The high yield savings account is the foundation, and it was never meant to be the whole building. Last year, I had two car accidents back to back, two separate $1,000 deductibles, and the same month, I got hit with an unexpected $300 medical bill that just came out of nowhere. $2,300 gone just in 1 month. And look, I had to use my emergency fund. And of course, we can all agree that's exactly what the emergency fund is there for. That was the right call. But I remember sitting there feeling this specific kind of frustration and quite honestly, even anger, not just because of the money, but about the fact that I had been doing everything right, or at least so I thought, saving consistently, being responsible, thinking ahead. And then one bad month still felt like it set me back. And that's when I realized the real problem wasn't the accident or the medical bill itself. It was that I had everything in one place, one account, one bank, emergency fund, travel, savings, everything all mixed together. No separation, no clarity on what was protected and what wasn't. So when the $2,300 hit, I was not just pulling from my emergency fund, I was pulling from the same pile that I had three other goals sitting there. Keeping everything in one institution is not just goal tracking problem, it can also be a risk problem that nobody realizes. Because if that bank has a technical issue, perhaps it gets flagged, maybe it freezes your account for any reason, everything is frozen all at once. It's rare with reputable FDIC insured banks, but rare is not zero. And in the digital banking era, access issues happen more than people realize. So that's why I personally use different banks for different purposes. I use SoFi from a planned spending with the car fund, the medical fund, the holiday fund, and a separate institution for the emergency fund itself. Now, always make sure that every account you use is FDIC insured. That is your non negotiable baseline. So, separating my savings and identifying different goals was the first fix, but it also made me realize something else. Most of it I was calling an emergency, but it really was not one. We're talking about car maintenance I knew was probably coming, tax payments that I had to make, all completely predictable. Even the holiday spending that catches people off guard every December. Now, we personally, for our family, have all of these set up now in estimated amounts, automated transfers, completely separate. That $2,300 expense that I talked about a little earlier, with this system in place, it would not be a setback. Now, if you feel like you've been doing everything right, you open your high yield savings account, saving consistently, trying to be responsible with your money, and you still feel like something is not adding up, you're not doing it wrong. You're just missing one layer. And here's the thing that most people never find out: the mistakes that cost the most money in personal finance are almost never dramatic. They're quiet. They're the rate that you stopped checking, the bucket that you never separated, the investing that you kept pushing to later. None of it feels urgent in the moment, and that's exactly what makes it expensive. Nobody really teaches this stuff clearly, not in the school, not in most jobs, not in most families, especially not in households like the ones that we grew up in, where money was always tight. Now, someone posts online, hey, I just found a high yield savings account paying 5%. And suddenly people are moving their money, rushing to open a new account, transfer balances, meet new requirements, all for a rate that sounds dramatically better. Now, let me do the math for you. 0.5% more APY on $10,000 is $50 a year. $50. That's one dinner out. But here's what most people don't think through: that 5% is almost always a promotional rate. Maybe it expires sometimes in 3 months, sometimes six. After that, it drops to whatever the standard rate is. And if you didn't read the terms, you might not even qualify for the promotional rate in the first place because of a direct deposit requirement or a minimum balance condition that you didn't read. The best high yield savings account is not the one with the highest advertised rate on the day that you sign up. It's the one that you actually understand, that you trust, and actually can stick with. Stability and simplicity beat chasing an extra 0.5% every single time. Now, here's one that sounds harmless until you see what it's actually doing. A lot of people set up their high yield savings account and they start routing everything through that high yield savings. Bills come out of it, subscriptions hit it, they transfer money in when they get paid and then pull money out when it's spending. And it becomes the center of the whole financial life. But here's the problem with this: a high yield savings account is designed to hold your money, not move it. The moment you start running transactions through it consistently, two things break down. First, you lose clarity. You can no longer look at the balance and know what's protected. Is that $8,000 for your emergency fund? Is that for your car fund? Or is $2,000 already spoken for, but bills going out the next week? You generally cannot tell anymore. Second, you create friction and tracking errors. Transfer timing issues between your high yield savings account and checking can cause problems with linked accounts. Some banks could flag your accounts with excessive withdrawals. Federal regulations used to limit your savings account transactions to six per month. Now, the fix here is simple. Your high yield savings account is a parking account. Money goes in with a purpose: emergency fund, car fund, holiday fund, and it stays there until the specific purpose requires it. Your checking account, on the other hand, handles the day to day. In the moment your high yield savings account becomes your financial hub, it stops being your financial protection. Now, this brings us to mistake number seven, and that is stopping at saving. $300 a month, starting at 30 years old, 8% average annual return. By age 60, that's around $440,000. Now, the same $300 a month, starting at age 35, same return, we're talking about $280,000. Now, that is a $160,000 gap in 5 years of waiting, 5 years of feeling responsible, 5 years of keeping money in a savings account because it just felt safer than investing. Now, a high yield savings account feels responsible and it is responsible for the right amount, but past your emergency fund ceiling, past your planned spending goals, keeping excess cash in savings doesn't feel like a mistake. It actually feels cautious. It feels disciplined. And that feeling has a price. Now, here's something I've learned: saving and investing are not two phases where you do one and then you switch to the other. They actually run simultaneously. The percentage that goes into each account shifts over time. When money's tight, you invest less. When money's good, you invest more. But the habit never fully stops because the compounding clock never fully pauses. Every year of delayed investing is a year that you cannot get back. Not because the market always goes up, but because time in the market is the most valuable asset you have, and you can buy more of it later. But my high yield savings account is earning 4%. Isn't that good enough? Now, for your emergency fund, yes, that's exactly what it's there for. 6 months of essential expenses, liquid, FDIC insured, accessible within a day or two. A high yield savings account earning 4% is the right tool for that specific job, full stop. For everything above that ceiling, nope. And here's why: 4% barely keeps pace with inflation. You're treading water. Maybe it's a slight edge, but still treading water. The market over long periods returns 8 to 10%. And that's the difference between financial security and financial stress in retirement. And here's the distinction that matters: money with a 5+ year horizon doesn't need to be liquid next month. It doesn't need FDIC insurance because it's not spending money, it's growing money. Putting long horizon money in a savings account is not safe, it's just comfortable. And we already talked about what comfortable costs. So, good enough for protection, not good enough for wealth. So, what does the right system actually look like? There's 3 layers, and each one does a specific job, and none of them sharing a bucket with the others. Layer one is your emergency fund, 6 months of essential expenses in a high yield savings account. Untouchable. This is your financial immune system, and it only activates when something generally unexpected happens. Layer two, planned spending, a separate high yield savings account or separate vaults inside the same high yield savings account for everything predictable: card maintenance, medical bills, insurance payments, holiday spending, funded monthly automatically. When the expense hits, the money is already there and you don't have to scramble. And here's the part that most people skip: use different banks for these 2 layers if you can, by the way. And then we talk about layer three, which is investing. This is where wealth actually gets built. We're talking about your 401k up to the employer match to start. Then you start building your Roth IRA, and then you go back to maxing out your 401k. And then at the end, your taxable brokerage. So when it comes to the investing layer, keep it simple. I automate it and think long term. My first priority is my 401k or TSP or 403b retirement account where you get a match. Roth IRA is the second one that I prioritize. I use SWPPX. That's the Schwab S&P 500 index fund. Low cost. It tracks the 500 largest US companies. I contribute monthly and don't touch it. For my taxable brokerage, SCHX does a Schwab large cap ETF. I use an ETF here instead of mutual funds because ETFs are more tax efficient in a taxable account. Now, if we're a Fidelity, FXAIX is the equivalent. At Vanguard, VOO, VTI, if you want total market exposure, they all track similar indexes. The performance differences between them are tiny. The expense ratios are also low. In the beginning, the specific amount matters less than the fact that you started. Don't spend 3 weeks researching which S&P 500 fund is marginally better. Pick one from a reputable provider, set up an automatic monthly contribution, and leave it alone. The fund matters far less than the habit that you build investing, and the habit starts today. So here's what we landed. There are 7 mistakes I wish I would have known earlier, and all of them are avoidable. Mistake number one: not checking your rate. So log in and check what you're getting and make sure that it matches what they're currently offering on their website. Mistake number two: thinking a high yield savings account is enough. It's a protection tool, not a wealth builder. Know the difference and use it accordingly. Mistake number three: using one bucket, one bank. Mixing goals is a trap, and concentration risk is real. Use different banks, stay FDIC insured, never put everything in one place. Mistake number four is using the emergency fund for non emergencies. Fund the predictable expenses separately. A planned spending fund ends the cycle permanently. Mistake number five is chasing APY. Stability and simplicity beat a 0.5% extra every single time. So pick a good account and stick with it. Mistake number six is treating your high yield savings account like a transaction account. It's a storage account. Money goes in with a purpose and it stays there. Your checking or cash management account handles the day to day. So keep the jobs clear. Then mistake number seven is stopping at saving. The high yield savings account is the foundation, not the finish line. So invest simultaneously. Always the percentage changes, not the habit, because it never stops. So now you know what took me years to figure out. Nobody handed this to me either. I'll learn it the hard way so you don't have to. So if you're ready to start taking action today for your emergency fund or your planned spending, the best high yield savings accounts are going to be in the description. I personally use SoFi since 2018. Barclays is my runner up. There's no complications, consistently strong rate. And if you're ready to start investing, there's going to be broker links in the description as well. So I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys on the next one.